This program is a production of the College Football Network, which is now available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Vimeo. Visit www.collegefootballnetworkinc.com for a list of future shows and links to our social media accounts where you can stay up to date on our newest shows.
You like to travel for football?
I travel some. I would really like to travel more, but you do what you can do.
You went to the national championship game.
I did not go to the one in New Orleans in 1980. I was a poor school teacher. I went to the one last year in Indianapolis where we beat Alabama.
I was there too. That was a fun game.
Yes, but I don't care if I don't ever go back to Indianapolis.
It was cold.
Yes, it was.
About 15 degrees or something when you're trying to go in the gate.
Yeah, it's freezing and too many layers of clothes and too much to keep up with, and hats and gloves and scarves, and I prefer the heat of Georgia.
Yes, us Southern people are not prepared.
No, they were not.
If Georgia wins Peach Bowl, advances, are you planning on going to LA?
That is the plan. I have tickets, so that is the plan.
Okay. Well, best of luck to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yes. We have a good season, rest of the season. Two more to go.
Yeah, I think Ohio State has some, they're not happy about the Michigan game, so.
Not my problem. My problem is making sure we beat Ohio State.
All right, well, she's going to have her crownies at the Ohio State Georgia game, right?
Yes. But I don't know if they probably won't go to Los Angeles because they'd have to go in my suitcase. So probably not in LA.
If you're in LA, make her some. What's your favorite road game?
SEC.
Or just anywhere.
Well, the best road trip we ever took was to Notre Dame. That was lots of fun because we went to Chicago and ate Chicago pizza and went to the Bean and saw Trump Towers and just made a day of Chicago. So that was probably my favorite trip. And Notre Dame folks are pretty nice. They were very receptive to us taking over their stadium because there were very few of them there. The ones who were there were lovely to us.
And you barked at them?
I did.
Okay.
You have to bark. And probably the nicest fans I have encountered would be at Mississippi State. We went to Mississippi State this year in 4-degree weather again, and they were not used to the weather any more than we were, and they were lovely. We walked all over the campus, and they could not have been any kinder. Got invited to several different tailgates, and they were lovely. Now, once you get in the stadium and the cowbells get going, they're not so lovely. But outside the stadium, I don't think we've met a kinder set of people than the Mississippi State people. Auburn has a pretty campus, but Auburn is such a big rival. You know, I would say that Florida is Georgia's biggest rival, and then Auburn, and then Tennessee. But now others have a different order, but it's going to include those 3 teams. Florida, you know, is our greatest rival. And my very first Florida game was in 1980 when Buck threw that pass to Lindsey, and we went on to win the national championship that year. And since 1980, I have missed 2 games. But other than that, I have been to every Florida game. I can promise you there are many books that could be written, and there are probably some stories that don't need to be shared. But if you haven't done it in Florida, you've missed your opportunity.
Okay. I made it to that game this year, so yeah. That was a bucket list game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and if Kirby decides to take it to Atlanta, I'm going to be sad, but that is a possibility. Next year could be the last Florida game.
You think it needs to stay in Jacksonville?
Oh, I do, but I'm not Kirby.
So it's talking about Atlanta every year, or not?
Or Atlanta.
Or going back to the school campus.
Well, there's 2 possible options. It could be Atlanta, Jacksonville. We could do that. Or it could be Athens, Gainesville. So, I've never been to a football game in the swamp.
You have advice for somebody going to Jacksonville for a Florida-Georgia game? What's the best things you need to do?
The best advice I can give anyone going to Florida is that you need to have a way in and you need to have a way out, and you need to have it planned, because the police are no help, because they're just trying to get 90,000 drunk people in the stadium and out of the stadium safely, so you can't stop and ask directions or ask why this street is closed or whatever. And every year it seems like the roads are different. In Jacksonville, you can always see the bridge you need to be on, but you can't get to the bridge you need to be on. So plan number one is know how you're getting in and know how you're getting out. It's the world's largest cocktail party, so to say don't drink is stupid. But drink smart, because if you drink stupid, you're just going to end up on the side of the road, or you're going to end up throwing up into bushes or getting arrested for public drunkenness. So drink smart is number 2.
What's the best cocktail?
Oh, Crown and Diet Coke. We have film of one of our little tailgaters standing on the bus funneling beer with the Florida people. But I don't drink beer, so my drink of choice is Crown and Diet Coke. Don't go down there looking for a fight, because if you just looking just a little bit, you're going to find one. Know the name of your hotel and how to get there. Go have a good time and bark, but be respectful of the other team also.
And the other team is Florida.
The other team.
So Jacksonville is your favorite place to watch a football game?
No, Sanford Stadium is probably my most favorite place. Sanford Stadium is like, when you talk about your thin place, I read this article one time in Guidepost, and it said, your thin place is where heaven and earth come together, and you know that God loves you and is with you. Well, the beach is my thin place, but so is Sanford Stadium. Opening game every year, when they run out onto the field and the music is playing and barking, and it's just so wild with excitement. Yeah, I do know God exists right there too. That's a good place to be.
How did you become a Georgia fan?
Well, my daddy was a Georgia fan. And when I got ready to graduate from high school and go to college, I wanted to go to West Palm Beach Atlantic College for Girls, which is in West Palm Beach, Florida, and where the Braves trained. And my mom nor my dad thought that was a very good idea. And my dad said to me, "Are you sure you don't want to be a Bulldog? We're Bulldogs in this house." And so it was like, oh, yeah, you're right. So I became a Bulldog.
You have other tailgate recipes that you usually make?
Well, I make that
egg sausage casserole.
the breakfast.
Mom? I don't think this is an audience participation show.
Next.
You might have to go sit out in the car. We'll let you know when we're done. Do you bark at people?
I do.
Okay.
When my niece was 4, I taught her how to bark. Before she decided she needed to go to Auburn, she could bark, and she learned how to bark at the boys going down 98 of Panama City. Her daddy didn't think much of that.
Yeah, if you make it to Athens, get ready to be barked at.
Right.
Are those gonna burn?
Well, I need to look, and I need to.
Oh, I took the camera off of them before they burnt.
Burn crownies. Y'all should. This is how they burn crownies. Y'all should eat.
Well,
Yeah.
we can do that when they got to sit for just a few minutes. Well, they're good. They're no acting like they're. Although I will say this, there's some in my refrigerator that have been there like a month. I mean, they last forever because there's so much liquor in them. But I can't eat them every week. You know, I can make them in my sleep,
So
but I
these
can't
still
eat 'em.
have, these still have the alcohol in them. It's not like when you bake. So like, you can get drunk off of these brownies.
Well, people let their kids eat them. I mean, you'd have to eat a whole bunch of them because it's really only 6 tablespoons of liquor and then 3 tablespoons of liquor.
Okay.
But they soak, they become, you know, the more they soak, the stronger they are. So here's to the dogs.
For the
Go
dogs.
dogs.